Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and in this video, we are going to be talking exclusively about price action. Specifically with XRP, because of course this is indeed an XRP-centric channel, but given the state of things today, the fact that XRP and every other cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin is indeed tethered to Bitcoin in terms of price action, we've got to talk about Bitcoin too. There's no way around that. So that's what I'm going to be diving into. And so here's what I find fascinating. In this video, I'm going to cover a chart analyst opinions. I didn't count before recording this. I don't know if it's 6 or 7 of them. It's a lot. It's a lot of opinions here. You can see, if you look along the top of my screen here, lots of tabs open with lots of opinions in there about the direction that cryptocurrencies are going in terms of price action. Given that this video is explicitly about price, I want to say at the outset, I am not a financial advisor. I have no financial background. I do not know the direction of which price is going. I just find this topic as interesting as you do. I really do. And so I like to talk to people that know what they're talking, or cover people that know what they're talking about in terms of price action, or at least pretend to. So hopefully they actually know what they're talking about. Either that or some of them just sound really smart and are good at pointing out stuff on charts. So there we go. But before we get going here, if you would, please delicately tap that like button. And if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, can we just be friends? Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Let's go ahead and dig in here. So, real brief recap. Market cap for the asset class, $215 billion. Bitcoin's at just over 8,000, and XRP is at 28.86. Now, I'll tell you this, what I find fascinating. Of course, as I just stated, XRP is indeed tethered to the price action of Bitcoin, but it'll have certain time frames where it doesn't act in some correlated fashion. Historically, when that would happen, there could be moves where, XRP could be going down. Sometimes there were a few instances over the years where XRP would have these massive parabolic shifts in price to the upside. But something that didn't happen until 2019, and it's only happened twice, and the second time it happened was within the last week and a half, however long it's been. XRP started to move up, and Bitcoin followed it, and then the rest of the market did. XRP has twice, to my knowledge, led the market. If there's more than 2 instances, please let me know. I would be very curious to see what those were. But this is a new development. This is type of price action that just wasn't happening. And so eventually, and that's why I say, XRP, yes, coupled to Bitcoin in terms of price action, but there's a very slow decoupling taking place as more speculators enter to invest in cryptocurrencies and more get educated about XRP, more are likely to hold if they share my investment thesis, which is that utility matters. And I believe utility will indeed win the day, but it's going to take a long time for the infrastructure to be built out. And I get that it's highly risky to invest in cryptocurrency. I get that it's highly volatile, but to me, that's why it's exciting and fun to be here. I'm happy every day, and I don't get sad when price goes down because I only invest when I'm willing to lose, and I encourage you to not invest more than you're willing to lose. I'll say that. I don't make financial advice, but I think that's pretty darn reasonable here. So you can even see, I don't need to go over too much of these daily charts. I pulled up the Bitcoin 24-hour chart and the XRP 24-hour chart, and I'll just make the point that Bitcoin has gone down more. You can even look at the 24-hour. It's gone down noticeably more than XRP has. And if you look at just even the weekly chart here, I'll just do the small version over here. I don't need to blow this up. But XRP has been ramping up during this part that I'm highlighting here, while Bitcoin was flat and then eventually went down, and then XRP started to a little bit too, but XRP in the face of that action was on the climb indeed. Now check out this headline. This is from Daily Hodl. Crypto analyst charts road to Bitcoin price jump as Bitcoin traders close in on critical time frame. As Bitcoin trades just a hair below the $8,000 mark at press time, and now it's just a hair above it, down from around $10,000 since September 24th, cryptocurrency traders are deliberating whether Bitcoin will slump further to the $7,000 range. Widely followed crypto analyst Plan B points out that traders are closing in on 6 months before the next Bitcoin halving, an event that will reduce the Bitcoin mining reward by 50%. Effectively creating less Bitcoin for each new block. And I want to say here before I read any further, the price action of Bitcoin, again, is relevant because even though XRP won't move in tandem with Bitcoin down to the second, the minute, the hour, the day, the week, the month, necessarily even half a year, sometimes. But if there are massive drops in terms of Bitcoin price, I cannot imagine it won't drag down XRP along with the rest of the crypto market. Every single crypto asset should go down, except for like stablecoin like Tether. But if it's that big of a tank and if it happens that quickly. So this does matter in terms of that. Plan B's stock flow model for charting Bitcoin's price movements indicates that 6 months prior to Bitcoin's halving triggers bullish sentiment. Following the 2012 and 2016 halvings, for example, Bitcoin/USD jumped 140% and 84% respectively. And so this is substantial. And to some degree, I think when you're talking about Bitcoin halving, some of that's just going to be baked into the price. But I tend to think that most of it won't be. Probably most of it. Some savvy investors know this is coming. They're probably putting their positions in now, or they already have, I suspect. And then when this happens, and you know what it's going to do to supply and demand when the halving occurs, and that can lift the entire crypto asset class, so long as every other cryptocurrency out there continues to follow Bitcoin in terms of price action. Let me jump to this next piece now. Excuse me, guys. This is from Daily Hodl also. Crypto Analyst flips on Bitcoin, warns Bitcoin targeting fresh lows. So it's bearish. Plus latest on Ripple and XRP. A crypto analyst who predicted Bitcoin's recent drop to $8,000 says he no longer thinks Bitcoin is poised for a bullish reversal. Late last month, the analyst known as Crypto Cal told his 3,300 followers that Bitcoin would rebound after reaching $7,500 to $8,000. Now that the target has been reached, he says there's no evidence to support a bounce, and he's expecting a short-term return to Bitcoin's lows from February of 2018 at around $6,000. So check out a quote here now. I literally can't find any bullish arguments for Bitcoin here. Breaks down from a 4-month structure into a clear bear flag. I think it's inevitable we see fresh lows. February 2018 lows are begging to be tapped, in my opinion. And when you start talking about that price range, you don't see too many people willing to put their necks on the line. I will say Peter Brandt, who is very notable trader, and he's anti-Ripple, anti-XRP. He's just a Bitcoin maxi. What can you say about it? He has said that he believes, very recently, I reported this within the last, a week and a half or two, so not completely fresh, hot off the press. Everything here, unless otherwise stated, it's completely fresh news here. Up to date here. But this sentiment from Peter Brandt, who has hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, he stated that he could see a trend where the Bitcoin price perhaps gets as low as 52 to 5,300. He didn't say it would happen, but he says he thinks that he could see a path to that. And it's fascinating that I'm seeing a little bit more negative sentiment today, especially considering anytime I did a video on price over the last, call it 5, 6, 7 days, whatever, it seemed to have been nothing but bullish. Period. Not just XRP. It's just like, all, puppies and ice cream all the time, right? Check out this next piece here now. And this one's titled, let me scroll up. Altcoins price prediction. XRP, ETH, BCH, ADA, Golden Cross, failed retrace, and more. So let me cover parts of this. While most altcoins break the important resistance that we discussed in our latest TRX/BTC price prediction, some of them are still located underneath the Ichimoku cloud. I guess that's how you say that. I do not know. Doesn't matter. I'd never heard of that before. I guess it's a tech chart thing, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about technical analysis whatsoever. Bitcoin Cash remains under the cloud and has kept going down since June of 2019, while most alts have already broken the cloud's bottom resistance. BCH was rebuffed by it and retraces to new lows. The closest support to the Ichimoku's conversion line, which is located above 0.027. There is a chart here, so if you want to look at it, you can, but if you just want to get conceptually what I'm talking about in this video, I'm sharing sentiments from traders, so if you're driving, don't worry, you're not really going to miss anything that's terribly important there. Let me go ahead and jump down. Here's the XRP/BTC. Check this out. This is what I most wanted to share from this piece. XRP is one of the strongest looking altcoins that entered in the Ichimoku cloud. But after an 8% gain, we can see that the price struggles to get above 3,550, and at this point can be considered as a local top. We're much likely to see a retrace to the next support here, which is yet to be determined. However, do not forget about one of the most bullish indications, the golden EMA cross that happened on October 9. Even if we see a small retrace, we can safely predict that in the long-term perspective, XRP/BTC looks extremely bullish. The retrace zone might be at 3,200, which is the Ichimoku cloud's bottom, and at the 3,400, 3,300 zone, which is the closest price to EMAs. Those act as a support at this point. And this was by, who's this? Okay, so this analyst is Arman Shirinyan. I might be saying that wrong. I probably am. Sorry. Arman Shirinyan. So that's the opinion from that. So ultimately, long-term bullish, XRP. So there's another sentiment. Check this out. Here's Patty Stash. And this is interesting. He's one of those guys out there in the XRP community. He's been a strong proponent for the concept of Altseason and just emphatically stating it is coming, just a matter of time. But anyway, here's what he said in this tweet. Trading becoming a bit stale over the past few days. Sentiment seems to be shifting a bit more bearish. Wondering whether altcoin dominance will retest support like it did previously. If so, that'll mean it's still going to be a few weeks yet before alts show much action. Tick-tock. And so here's the, if you care to look, here's the chart that he had associated with that particular tweet. And so ultimately, even though he cited the bearishness, he seems to think it's going to bounce off the line there, and just because what this chart is, this is the altcoin market cap dominance here. That's what, because he's been talking about. That's what I find so fascinating. It's just the concept of the alt season. He seems to be firmly in the camp of yes, it's coming. It's a matter of time. And I tend to share the sentiment. I don't know if it's going to look exactly like the last one that occurred in 2017 with the craziest frenzy around crypto in the history of mankind. There were a lot of ICOs going on then, mind you, and some of those may never come back. You know, you would certainly hope not, especially most of them being scams, right, or a huge percentage of them anyway. But I think that those coins that have utility, and for those savvy investors that are starting to figure things out, I haven't seen enough evidence that that it's not going to happen. You know, nobody's been able to convince me, because when I take, even though I'm not a chart analyst, all right, and I don't make predictions, it's not financial advice. What I'm seeing is the continued adoption of, for instance, XRP, because I'm an XRP guy, because I'm all about utility, and that's where the actual adoption is taking place in terms of utility. And so with me seeing that going forward, for a guy like me that understands utility matters, there you go. And even if you haven't figured that out, that utility matters to that degree, you're investing in a bunch of other stuff. If you go back to here, I'll even pull up Live Coin Watch right now. Do these look like dead coins on the main screen here? Look at this. Here's the top 10, and I can keep scrolling down. Do people look like they're done speculating on these cryptocurrencies? No. These are a bunch of cryptocurrencies, and the price goes up and down with Bitcoin because people haven't figured it out. And so, if history repeats itself, as Patty Stash has previously pointed out, one would think it's reasonable to assume that indeed the prices of altcoins would increase, the market dominance of Bitcoin would decrease, and you just see a reversal in terms of dominance, altcoins versus Bitcoin. And if it doesn't happen in the relatively near future, then it will be the first time in history that it has not. And so unless you believe, because if you think that this back and forth is going to stop happening, it's just, then what? So it's just Bitcoin? It's just Bitcoin's going to rocket forever and all the other altcoins? To me, conceptually makes no sense whatsoever. It's just an opinion from an everyday Joe Schmo. You can think, it's okay to disagree. You can think whatever you want. I'm interested in other people's opinions. Here's another tweet from Patty Stash, and it was in a thread that I'm not going to get into. It doesn't matter. I just liked the screen capture that he has here, so I'm going to pull this up. I wanted to read this to you. It's a quote from Warren Buffett. If you are not willing to own a stock for 10 years, do not even think about owning it for 10 minutes. Again, that's a Warren Buffett quote. That makes sense to me. And the reason that resonates with me is because I am nothing but a fundamentals guy, nothing but a long-term guy. I don't want to try and time the markets. I have no interest. I don't want to panic sell. I don't want to FOMO into anything. I just want to have confidence on my investment in XRP based on fundamentals, based on real-world adoption, due to real-world utility, and then I want to hold. That's why this matters to me. All right, next tweet here. This is from Aquaflow XRP. Now, this one is old. I think it's the only old thing that I pulled up. So October 6th, 2019. But there's a fresh one right after this from the same guy. So check this out. People will soon start realizing there's no such thing as coincidence in those markets. And so here's the chart that he had associated with that. And he's showing the patterns over this time frame, 2015 to 2017. And now you have 2018 to 2019. And here's and these are the lows that I'm citing here, by the way, when I'm referencing those time frames. And then, so this part that I'm circling here, the point that he's making is that he did put a question mark there, but if history repeats itself, what do you think will happen here? Tremendous tremendous growth, perhaps, right? And I think that's the point that he was trying to get at. I'm not going to read everything just for the sake of time. I already had too many opinions to cover this video. I don't want to go too much longer. But feel free, if you want to pause it and read what he had to say here, feel free. Here's the more recent one from him. What else can I say? Thank you, Fibonacci. And so here's a chart right here with the most recent bit. And so the sentiment, if you look, even maybe you have to look more in a few days, whatever it is, the point is it's a positive sentiment, and the direction that we're going ultimately would be north. So it's a positive sentiment from this individual. Next here, and I like this. This is from Stone Hodl XRP, who tagged me in this. I don't know if this individual created this or just found it. Either way, I find the graphic fascinating. And you can see how they're charting out. And this is not the only. This is the first time I had seen this specific chart, but not the only individual to point out the similarities over this timeline. The timeline that we're, the now time frame, which I'm circling right here, versus 2017, and you can see graphically the similarities. And so, will history repeat itself? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what other people are sharing with me. All right, now check out this next one. This is from my boy MPC, and so he was asked, how are you feeling, Magic? Any updates to your giant XRP chart? And this is bullish here. Check this out. And MPC had been away for a while here. Hi, Zach. I'm doing quite well. I've been on a bit of a hiatus, spending time with the fam. However, I'm about to put in some work on social media. XRP has been consistently pushing into the bottom of the massive uptrend channel and closed inside of it yesterday, so obviously bullish there. I'm going to be following him to see what type of stuff he's putting on social media. I find his work to be fascinating, and I've covered him on the channel a number of times, and he's got a big following now. I think, what is it, around 30,000? Yeah, 29,500 followers. So something to what he's putting out there. People tend to like. This is a tweet from Wooly. XRP Ripple daily chart. Falling wedge closed as price gets past 28 cents. Caused a lot of bullish momentum. Next target, 32 cents. We could reach 40 cents by the end of next month. Now, I know there's probably a lot of you out there listening who said 40 cents end of next month. That would be November. That's a long time. Well, look, I don't know if it's going to take that long to hit there. But for me, it's, again, can I pull up this again from Patty Stash? Where is it? Look at this. Yeah, here you go. Here's the Warren Buffett quote. If you are not willing to own a stock for 10 years, do not even think about owning it for 10 minutes. I think that sufficiently shares my sentiment on that. I'm willing to hold. Make your own decisions, but I'm absolutely willing to hold. If it's 40 cents or if it's 10 cents at the end of November, I don't care. I'm going to hold, and I'm going to continue to buy on a regular schedule because I think I found something, and if the rest of the people can't figure it out sufficiently to, make volatility go away, cool. I don't care. I really don't. Here's a tweet from Ollie123. Seeing how low most people's expectations are for XRP price just goes to show the effect a bear market has on human psychology. Don't give up hope. Okay, so despite what I just said there in terms of being a long-term guy, I do think it's fair to state that people can feel beaten down and then be tricked into selling positions. I do think there's some of that happening, but on the flip side, you can also be fooled into FOMOing. And so I think there's a truth to both sides of that coin there, but I tend to think if we're not, and this is, again, not financial advice, just sharing an opinion. I'm just a fundamentals guy. Just looking historically at the price action of XRP and what I've seen from actual chart analysts, I'd be surprised if XRP does go much lower. I mean, you'd have to have some sort of catastrophic price action of Bitcoin for that to happen. That's what I think anyway. You can tell me what you think. Check out this piece. Here's an opinion from analyst Scott Melker. Bitcoin back below $8,000, but is the macro bullish trend broken? And I wanted to go down here a little bit. Where's the part I wanted to cover? Sorry, guys, just 1 second here. Okay, bullish scenario. Bulls will look to the monthly and weekly chart for signs of likely continuation towards higher highs, noting the key support level of 7,777 mentioned on the monthly and the hidden bullish divergence and 50 EMA support on the weekly chart. Holding these levels maintains the macro bullish trend. Okay, so there's the bullish scenario. Here's this chart analyst's bearish scenario. A break and close below the key monthly $777 level and confluent range lows would be bearish and would likely lead to a significant movement to the downside. Bears will continue to watch the ascending channel or the bear flag that has formed on the 4-hour chart for signals that price will continue to drop. And so there you go. And again, if you're talking again about a substantial drop of Bitcoin, like I said, all bets are off, man. Because look, I like what XRP has done, and again, it's moved the entire market to the positive twice that I'm personally am aware of, and all of that can be. That's not explicitly the way the market's going to suddenly work just because that happened. Okay, the gains can be wiped away if something terrible happens to Bitcoin in terms of price action, but even if that happens, the crypto asset class is not going away. To me, looking long term, I see nothing but positive outcomes, at least in terms of XRP price. We'll see how long Bitcoin lasts. I'm not sure, because it's not actually being used for anything. Here's the last opinion here, and I'm going to be real brief here because this video is going a little bit longer than I intended, but this is from Analyst Amkar Godbol with CoinDesk, and I'll just read the 4 bullet points to kind of sum up his opinion. So here's the first one. Bitcoin's weekly Chaikin Money Flow Index is reporting the strongest bearish bias since February. Other weekly chart indicators are also calling a deeper drop, possibly to levels below recent lows near 7,750. The daily chart indicator suggests the corrective bounce has ended and sellers are again gaining strength. Third, the ongoing risk aversion in the global financial markets could weigh over Bitcoin. Number 4, the short-term bearish case would weaken if prices rise above the 200-day average, currently located at 8,700, although as of now, that looks unlikely. So there you go. I shared a ton of opinions from a bunch of different chart analysts. You've got the bear cases, you've got the bull cases, and what do you think? Which way is it going to go in the short term? How optimistic are you for the midterm, whatever you consider that to be, and the long term? Again, me, long-term guy, I think it's going to be aight. You let me know, though. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!